guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca. If you haven't been here before, welcome. So today's video is the first video of the new year. I'm very excited to be back. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking all about 2022 goals and New Year's resolutions that have nothing to do with weight loss. And the reason that I put that little tidbit at the end there is because I feel like in a lot of online spaces right now, everyone is talking about goals and New Year's resolutions, but a lot of those goals have to do with this quote-unquote kind of like warped idea of health. Like, this is the most challenging time of the year for me, and I think for a lot of people, when it comes to rhetoric around weight loss, because the new year is so often inundated with ideas of diet culture and fat phobia, and you have to lose weight and you have to look a certain way, and this is the time of year to be the new you. And I just really don't like the way people talk about the new year, and I feel like a lot of spaces that I go into where I'm interested in hearing about people's New Year's resolutions, and I'm interested in hearing about other people's goals because it's possible that those might be goals that I would want. I'm often faced with information about weight loss or information about people wanting to lose weight, and honestly, I don't like how that makes me feel, and it's to each their own, but in my space I want it to be safe for everyone. And so I wanted to make a video for those of us who don't want to have to come face to face with that. I want a 2022 New Year's resolutions and goals that have literally nothing to do with weight loss. And so yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about it. I wanted to talk about how toxic it can be, and you know, just let you know that I'm here with you. So my 2022 New Year's resolutions have nothing to do with weight loss. They are ideas that I hope will be beneficial to you, that you might want to adopt some of these goals yourselves, but I just wanted to preface and say, you know, I hear you. I'm here with you if you feel the same way that I do, and I just think that a lot of people have been talking about how toxic diet culture is during this time, and I shall not stand for it in my video. So if you are looking for a 2022 New Year's resolutions that have nothing to do with losing weight, dieting, yada yada yada, then you've come to the right place. So let's get into my New Year's resolutions. So I've categorized my resolutions based on career, personal growth, relationships, and like financial stuff. So those are the categories. I will put them down below if you're interested in like looking at a specific category. But these are just some things that I've been thinking about for my own New Year's resolutions, and I'm really excited to start the new year. I do like that it is kind of an opportunity to begin again, but I also don't think that we need to remake ourselves. It's just a chance, just like every week, every day is a new chance. This just feels kind of like a bigger new chance, and it doesn't have to have like any meaning to you. The new year doesn't have to mean anything to you. And in all honesty, this year I really didn't think about my New Year's resolutions until I was thinking about making this video, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, do I even have any resolutions? I really haven't thought about this, but I do think it's nice to have some things that I want to add to my life to make it like more fulfilling for me. So this is just like my list of that. So the first category I'm going to begin with is my career goals. So making this video, making YouTube videos, the first thing that I thought of for this year was that I really want to reach 1,000 subscribers. So on that note, if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, please subscribe down below. I'm trying to reach 1,000 by the end of this year, so I have plenty of time, but I would really love to hit that milestone marker and have 1,000 friends on YouTube. So definitely subscribe down below if you are not already. It would really help me out. The next goal I have is to get a full-time job doing something I love. So if you know me, you know that I'm currently part-time employed. I work for a local newspaper. I love my job. I love writing articles. My major in college was journalism, and I have a master's in communication. So I would love to get a full-time job this year doing something that I really love, whether it's social media, whether it's YouTube, whether it's writing articles, whether it's doing PR for a company or organization that I am passionate about. These are all things that I would love to do, editing videos, filming, these are all like in my wheelhouse and things that I really enjoy. Number 3, I would like to post every Friday on YouTube for the entire year. So Friday is my usual upload date. When I started my YouTube channel last year, it was really, I started in 2020, at the end of 2020, but I had this idea that I wanted to post twice a week, and then I kind of changed it to once a week. And there have been times where I've kind of gone on a hiatus and disappeared from the YouTube space, and I think that's totally fine. But I want to get into a schedule of posting every Friday because I do really like making YouTube videos. I've learned so much from being on YouTube, and I think that it's good to be consistent. And if I'm telling you all that I'm going to make videos every Friday, I'd really like to stick to that. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to take any breaks during the year, but when I do take that time away from YouTube, I just want to have videos prepared beforehand that can go up, because I'd love to have an entire year where every Friday a video comes out and I'm just like really consistent. Number 4, I would like to continue to improve as a writer and an interviewer. As I mentioned, I work for a local newspaper. I'm a reporter, so one of my jobs is to interview and talk to people, as well as write articles and stories. And I do feel like I've grown a lot over the past few months working there, but I want to continue to grow. This is something that I really love doing. I love talking to people. I love learning new things, and I love writing stories. Number 5. This is kind of scary to put out there, but I really want to work with some of my favorite YouTube/content creators. I think it would be just really fun to meet some of the people who've inspired me to start my own channel, some of the people who inspire me every day, people who I watch on YouTube, people who I follow on Instagram who make me happy. And I think it would just be an amazing experience to start working with other creators. I'm going to put some names out there. So they are probably not going to watch this video, but for myself, I'm going to put these names out there so that, I don't know, I think just like in the spirit of manifesting, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the names of the people who I would really love to work with. And if there's ever anyone out there who watches my channel who would be interested in working with me, whether you want to go thrifting or you want to send each other, you know, thrift boxes, or you want to have a discussion about something cool, or you want to ask me questions or talk to me or whatever, my DMs are always open. My Instagram is linked down below. I would love to talk to any of you. And yeah, it would just be something that would be really fun to do, to collab with some creators. So some creators I want to collab with are Carrie Dayton, Lucy Wood, Charlotte Emily Price, Katie Yu, In the Wander Years, Karina Gomez, Haley's Thrift Haul, Blazed and Glazed, Adrianana, Alexa Sunshine 83, Fancy Dinosaur Tea Party, and Sierra Schultze. These are some of my favorite people to watch on YouTube, some of my favorite people to follow on Instagram, people who just like make me really happy with their content, who like sort of I would just like love to be friends with, but I would also love to work with on like a content creation level, so hit me up. So the next section that I'm going to talk about is personal growth. So these are more just like simple things that I want to do for me, things that I aspire to do this year, kind of just for fun. So my 6th goal/resolution is to read at least 30 books this year. I believe last year I read 18 books. I think that any number of books is amazing to read, but I just really want to challenge myself to read more this year because I do love it and it's fun. It's something I enjoy. It's something I want to do. Number 7 on my list is to train to run a 5K. This has nothing to do with, like I mentioned before, wanting to lose weight. That is like not something I'm interested in. I want to run a 5K because I was training last year to run a 5K literally just for fun, to challenge myself, to move my body in a way that makes me happy. Running really brings me a lot of like endorphins and joy, and it has always been a challenge for me. I'm not like the traditional form of like looking like a runner, and running was always really hard for me when I was younger. When I was in high school, I always thought to myself, I'm not a runner, I can't run. But the truth is, I think that if you want to be a runner, anyone can be a runner. And when I started running, it was really just to have a way to move my body that made me happy, and it was also to like challenge my own beliefs about myself. And I proved myself wrong in a way that I had never in my life expected to. It's really just to have some joyful movement in my life. So number 8, I want to stock my wardrobe with pieces that I love. So this past year I have been thrifting and buying some, but like really picking up pieces that bring me joy, that make me smile when I see them, and I really want to continue to build my wardrobe into something that brings me joy every day when I get dressed in the morning. I really fell in love with like fun, funky, crazy patterns and colors, and I found that I didn't actually have a lot of what I wanted to wear in my wardrobe, so I decided to stop buying plain pairs of jeans, which I had plenty of, and I wanted to start thrifting things that I saw and were intrigued by, that brought me happiness, that made me smile, where I thought to myself, that's crazy, like, could I wear that? And this past year I started saying to myself, yes, you can totally wear that. So I want to start saying yes to my fashion sense. If you are someone who loves fashion but has not been allowing your sense of style to like run free, I really challenge you to do so, because wearing things that are fun and funky, whether it's a striped sweater that is actually your dad's or a fun pair of pants that are bright red, whatever it is for you, I think that I know that it brings me a lot of joy, and I think it would probably bring you a lot of joy too. Number 9 is that I want to travel and see new places. I wrote ideally 4 new states. So I have always had this idea that I want to see 50 states by the time I am 50 years old. I am 23 right now, turning 24 next week, and I have seen 20 states, and that's like a lot of states. Do not get me wrong. But I would love to see 4 more states to catch up to my age, just so that I can fulfill this dream of seeing 50 states by the time I'm 50. If anyone has any suggestions, go ahead and drop them down below. I live in New Jersey, so I've seen, you know, most of like the East Coast states I've seen them. I've never been to Rhode Island. I've never been to New Hampshire. I've never been to Vermont. So those are some on my list. But also a lot of like Midwest or even like Southwest, I have really not been to any of those states. So if you have suggestions, definitely drop them down below. I would love to see them. So resolution number 10 is to work through some of my fears. I have anxiety. It has always kind of like been a part of my life. But with anxiety sometimes comes these things that like are really challenging for me that I have a hard time doing, and so I really want to overcome some of my fears or some of the things that I feel like are limiting me. Number 11, I want to take more photos and videos just for memory's sake. So I take a lot of photos and videos for YouTube, for Instagram. I obviously enjoy content creation. That's like one of the main things that I do. But I have found that the things that make me the happiest, the photos and the videos that bring me the most joy, are things that I maybe never intended to use for anything, but are just for the memory of where I was and what I was doing. Specifically, film photography has become something that I'm really into. I have recently bought a film camera, one that's not disposable, so that I'm not creating so much waste with a constantly disposing of like one-use cameras. But the film photography is so special because you can take pictures in that moment. You don't see what you look like. It's all about that one singular memory, and it's like a surprise every time you get your photos developed and you get to see what you went through, because you forget about it. So film photography is really a growing love for me, and I'm so excited to continue to take film photos and create more memories this year. Number 12, I want to learn how to cook more and meal prep. So the reason this is on my list is because I would say like I'm a relatively good cook. I really like cooking, but I'm a really bad planner when it comes to cooking. So like I'm not the best at like going to the grocery store and buying the things I need before I make the meal. And I'm really good at making dinner, but I'm pretty terrible at making lunch. So I would really like to strengthen my ability to cook just by being better at cooking in general. Number 13. So I want to thrift at least 80% of what I buy this year. I don't know how I'm going to quantify that number, but basically I'm thinking I don't just mean clothing, I also mean household items, I also mean books and jewelry and furniture. I really want to work on being more sustainable and having not only a wardrobe that is majority thrifted, but also furniture that is majority thrifted, and just living a lifestyle where I am not necessarily like consuming new things all the time, if that makes sense. So the next category we are going into is relationships. So number 14, I want to make at least one new friend this year. As I've gotten older and I have graduated college, I have learned that it is progressively more difficult and not as common for me to be making new friends. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm not in school and I'm not going to classes anymore, so it's not as often that I'm just casually meeting new people who I consistently see week to week. So I would really like to make a new meaningful friendship this year. Number 15, I want to set healthy boundaries with the people around me, whether it's my friends or family. I think that boundaries are really important. Everyone deserves to have boundaries. I think it's very appropriate to enforce your own boundaries. So that's something that I'm going to be working on this year. Number 16, I want to be better about keeping in contact with the people I love. So I'm pretty good at this, but I think that with COVID and like how long we've been in this pandemic, it becomes increasingly hard to stay connected to people. And there's a lot of people in my life who are really important to me, whether it's family who lives far away or friends who I just really care about from college or high school. But anyway I look at it, there are people who are really important to me that I want to stay in contact with, that I want to keep close to me. And so that's something I'm challenging myself to do. The next category is financial. This is the last category I have. So number 17, I want to pay off my student loans. That is obviously a goal for many people across the country, and by no means do I think I'm going to pay all of my student loans off this year, but I do want to save up money and really start tackling my student loans because, you know, it's just something that needs to be done. Number 18, I want to monetize my YouTube channel. So this kind of goes along with the 1,000 subscribers, but making my channel a source of income for me would be really incredible. I think that probably everyone on YouTube feels that way, so I don't expect any sort of miracle to happen. But if you like my videos, if you like me, if you enjoy hanging out with me on Fridays, then please subscribe, like, share, comment, hit the bell notification. All these things really benefit me in the YouTube algorithm. They push my videos farther, and every subscription I get and every video you watch brings me closer to being monetized on YouTube. So that is something that would be like a huge deal for me. The 19th thing on my list is to move somewhere and have my own space. I am really excited at the prospect of just having my own place that I can decorate to my liking and fill with plants and artwork, and that is just very personalized to me and my taste. That is something that I foresee in the future. The 20th thing on my list is to work with a brand I love. I obviously mentioned some creators that I want to work with, but I have a lot of brands that I'm interested in working with as well. Any sustainable brand is really interesting, and I would love to work with Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. I had a series of videos that I did last year for season 1 of Only Murders in the Building, and I will obviously continue to make content for season 2 when it eventually comes out this year. But I know that last year I saw that Hulu had paid some content creators to market Only Murders in the Building as it came out, and I would be beyond, myself if I was able to work with Hulu and Only Murders in the Building. It's obviously a show that I love, that brings me a lot of joy, that brings a lot of people a lot of joy, and it would just, I would cry. I would cry. So yeah, those are all the resolutions that I have for this year, for 2022. Happy New Year to all of you. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all those YouTube-y things. I am thankful for all of you, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye!